Right. The purpose of what we're doing in this company, although that property is what we do, the point is to have a vehicle that gets people to a level of freedom financially. And that's why this company was built. It was to be able to come up with strategies and ways to be able to get people to work towards a level of financial freedom. So what we're going to do is to show you sort of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get to that point. My background is I'm a financial and business consultant for banks and media companies for 20 years. And that's what they employed me to do. My job was to look at their company and then tell them how to get more of a market share in what they were doing, and implement strategies and build teams to make sure it happened. And I did a good job for them, so I believe I can do a good job for our company as well. So with that, I will start the presentation. I'm going to share my screen with you. Yeah. Now. All right, share. All right, so the idea is we want within the next 6 months to get to a position where our average negotiator is able, the next 12 months to get to a position where average negotiator is able to have £2,000 a month in residual income. Yeah. Residual meaning whether they decide to go on holiday for a month and come back, they can still be making that same residual income. Yeah. We would like to get to a position where our average manager within the next 6 months can get to a residual income of about £4,000. Yeah. And what I'm going to take you through is how we plan to achieve this. Yeah. So we, as well as giving you market appraisals that you will go out and conduct, and then we split 50-50 on the market appraisal, you agree the fee with the landlords, and whatever comes out of that market appraisal, 50-50 we split, and you get paid on an hourly basis to go and conduct the market appraisal. As well as that, we feel that that's a good way to be able to bring part-time money to someone, but it's not a way to really drive towards that financial freedom that we've set out to achieve in the first place. So we've implemented the sharing strategy. What the sharing strategy is that we have over 100 negotiators at the moment, and we grow our company by about 30 negotiators on a monthly basis. Yeah. And we give these negotiators 2 managers, and these managers create, teach the negotiators how to put ads out in places like Spare Rooms and Gumtree, create sharers that are looking to rent properties that we have, groups of them, ultimately before we even have the properties. So as soon as we get the properties, we can rent the properties very quickly. Yeah. Okay. We also found out by testing our sharer project plan that actually, because we make money on the difference between what we take it from the landlord to the amount that the sharers are paying, which I'll show you below, we make residual profit in between those 2 prices. Yeah. And that profit is split between the managers and negotiators and us as a company. Yeah. So that is the overall and how we plan to achieve what we are doing. I'm going to go into some detail. Marcia is the sharer's manager, and she's been testing this process. So we're going to go over her findings, if that makes sense.
No problem.
Perfect. So this is Marcia.
That's me with makeup on.
Marcia has 7 negotiators. Daniel, Abigail, Kandisha, Karmajit, Ebbs, Ria, and Lillian. Yeah. Marcia has given each one of her negotiators a specific area in Southwest London. Yeah. So Battersea, Clapham, Vauxhall, Balham, Streatham, Brixton, and Stockwell. Here you can see that she's apportioned the areas to each negotiator. Yeah. Marcia's strategy was to make the areas ultimately interlinking. So people that are renting in Battersea would also like to rent in Vauxhall and in Clapham, you know, and people that are renting in Balham would like to rent in Brixton and Stockwell. and Streatham. So she sort of interlinked them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Marcia's strategy. So Marcia got her negotiators to put ads in Spare Rooms, Gumtree, and Spare Rooms as Buddy Up. And this is sort of her weekly average finding. So Battersea, Battersea under Spare Rooms property ad, she had 3 tenant inquiries. Gumtree 1, Spare Rooms, Buddy Up 2, Vauxhall 8 to 4, Balham 3, 2, 1. Ultimately, at the end of it all, I'm gonna get to the numbers. She had 77 inquiries in the week, with 26 of them joining our site. So I'm just gonna go back up to the top. So as she got all these inquiries in, what we next do is that we respond to all the inquiries via email, or sometimes we call it the sharers, and say, I'm gonna send you a little link. Can you use that link, fill out your information, do a little 30-second video about yourself, so we can send that same link to other sharers in your area, and you can see other sharers in your area. And if you like them, you can all sort of link up, and we'll find you all a house together.
Sure.
Yeah. So all of those. So out of all of those numbers, as I was saying, out of her 77 week inquiries, 26 of them joined the site. Yeah. And because they joined it, like Balham, you got 1, Streatham, you got 2, Brixton, you got 4, Stockwell, you got 8. It's not a lot individually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because they're all interlinking, we got 8 in total over 4 areas that can interlink. Yeah.
Okay.
So Marcia was actually able to create 2 groups out of that 8.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then she had Clapham, Battersea, and Vauxhall. There was a lot more tenants in that group. So she was actually able to have 18 people join our site and then create 3 groups out of that.
Yeah.
So in total, we created 5 groups. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now we're going to go into the detail of what's happened. So out of that 5 groups, the first group, we were able to find 1 property in Brixton. Yeah. The landlord basically wanted 3,300. And the average tenant in that household, there was 5 of them, we got eventually, was paying £850. So the amount of money in total we were receiving from the tenants was 4,250, but the payout to the landlord was 3,300. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which left about a £950 profit. Yeah. We then we have a care of duty to the sharers, because we're not doing a sublet contract. We're all on the same contract. Yeah. So because we know the tenants beforehand, we put them onto the contract, and then we put ourselves onto the contract, saying that we're like the management sharer for the other sharers, to make sure that there's cleaning. We make sure that the bills are paid, the Wi-Fi is paid, and the house is maintained to a certain level. So we do free property management on the behalf of the landlords.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So in total, the bills comes up to about £435, which left a £515 profit every month.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there's 2 more groups that we rented to. There was 2 in Clapham. Yeah. So the first one in Clapham, the rent was 2,500. The average tenant in Clapham was paying 800, which means we made 3,200. There was a £700 profit. By the time we took out £385 for bills, we were left with £315. The third one, 2008, average tenant was paying £863. You're looking at 3,400. And by the time you've taken out everything, we were left with £267. Yeah. Which meant that the average profit over these 3 deals is £366. Yeah. Now, we've thrown in some market comparables in here for the sake of throwing it in, so you can see for yourself the average numbers and whatever and whatnot. So these are the market comparables. Right. Now, because the lettings negotiators are the ones that are being trained to create these groups, the lettings negotiator gets 25% of the residual profit that comes out of the monthly. So the monthly brings £366 in profit, averagely.
Yeah.
That 25% equals to £91.42p. Yeah. Now we need to, we create something that we call the Zoom host. This is a person who creates the environment that that the sharers get to meet each other. So we create like a Zoom meeting. We got 6 different sharers. We play a little game of assassins. So we give each tenant a character, and then after we give each tenant a character, they pretend to be a particular character. It gets them to have a little fun game, like messing with each other. It gives them a good idea of the personalities behind them without putting them on the spot to say, tell us about yourself, if that makes sense.
Well, by this point, have the tenants already kind of seen a kind of personal profile of the potential other tenants that they're going to be living with, or is the Zoom meeting, right, okay.
Yeah, by this point, we've already sent out the profiles to the all the tenants that are going to be in the Zoom meeting. They already have in their mind who they're thinking to move in with, but this gets them the ability to kind of
get them chatting,
get them talking. Yeah. So even when they have that first face-to-face meeting, their focal point of conversation, you was when I met in that game. It starts the relationship on a good point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good icebreaker for the tenants.
Exactly, it's a good icebreaker, and they've already seen the profiles of the other tenants, and they've got like generally a good vibe of who they want to move with. Yeah. So whoever hosts the Zoom game or meeting gets 5% of the residual profit, which is equivalent to £18.28p. This is from one deal, and then the lettings manager gets 15%, which is equivalent to £54. Yeah. Now, I know the lettings manager gets less. Technically speaking, yeah, they do get less. But remember, you do this, you have 6 negotiators, whereas the negotiator only makes off themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we look at it like this, we'll start with the lettings negotiator. The lettings negotiator makes £91, right, per week, because they're doing one sharer group a week. So over a month, they've done 4 sharer groups and they're making £396. Remember, this is residual. Every month that the tenants pay, they get their residual cut out of it. Yeah. The managers make 15%, which is £54, just over that. So if you do 54 times 4, they make an average of £237. But they have 6 negotiators, all doing the same thing. So that means on a monthly basis, the manager's residual growth will be £1,426. Yeah. Also, the Zoom hosting is also over the 6, because technically speaking, you could have one negotiator does all the Zoom hostings, and that's doing it on the behalf of 6. So that in itself generates £475 a month in residual as well for Zoom hosting. So that could go. Managers decide how they want to split that money with the negotiators. They can say, I'm going to get all the negotiators to do a Zoom host after I've trained them, but that money is going to go to the negotiator that's doing the best. Or actually, we're going to put it in a pot, like Marcia, she wants to put hers in a pot. And once a month, she takes her negotiators, invites them all to a hotel in London, and they have a fun time doing dinners and whatever they want to do. Yeah.
Because my team's quite dispersed as well, so like yours probably will be, I would imagine. It's a good way of getting some team building going on as well within the team, so they can all meet each other. I just think it keeps their momentum up as well, so they're all looking forward to doing that. So
Okay. How often do you guys meet then? Like, is that on a weekly basis, or are you meeting like per month?
I'm going to be doing it once a month at the end of every month, but obviously not this month, but I'm aiming for the end of next month to be doing that with my team. But we have weekly meetings online, so so anyway, sorry, I won't interrupt.
Oh, perfect, please. Marcia speaks to her guys, even though they have like weekly meetings online, she's speaking to her guys every day, or pretty much
every day. Sometimes we have 2 group Zoom meetings, but every single day I speak to my negotiators through WhatsApp group chats and individually. It's really important just to always keep in touch with them constantly.
So let's look at a 12-month plan on a negotiator. So every month they're building their residual income by £396. So that means by the end of the year, they keep doing that. Every month they're going to keep doubling. until get to 12 months, they'll be on £4,753 in residual income. One thing I wanted to say to you is that, remember, if a tenant moves out or a sharer moves out of a room, that affects the residual. So what we do in the contract, we have a 2 months notice period that must be upheld. So it means that we know up to 2 months in advance that a tenant's looking to move out, and our negotiators have 2 months to re-rent it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that keeps all the any voids safe, if that makes sense. So by the end of year 1, the negotiator would have effectively rented 12, had 12 houses, whatever and whatnot, and potentially will be having about £4,753. So even if we half that over the 12 months, because, you know, we all want to do as well as we want to do, but you always have to go to, they'll be making 2,376. And to be honest, it's very, very easy for the negotiators to be doing 2 sharer groups or 3 sharer groups a week. Do you know what I mean? It really depends on how well they, you know, what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Managers, will be doing, obviously they're growing by £1,426 a month because they got 6 negotiators. So by the end of the year, the target earnings for a manager is £17,000 in residual income monthly. Obviously, at half that, you're looking at £8,000. But to be honest, that comes in as long as the tenants pay their rent. So even if I half that again, and you're looking at £4,000, you could go on holiday for a month. As long as the tenants are paying their rent, and we've got that 2 months notice period, you could be on holiday for a month, talking to your negotiators from any country in the world for a month, 2 months, and still maintaining that income coming in. So ultimately, that is the idea of the sharers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the platform that we use for you to be able to manage your negotiators, for you to be able to capture the information that's going through, and then just know everything. We've created a sort of a platform that just does everything. Yeah.
Right.
Master, do you mind if I use your platform?
No, of course not.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm going to have to find your passwords and stuff. So I'm going to go online now. Let's go online.
Okie dokie.
Let's go here. Give me a second. I'm just getting online. I probably should have prepared this before, but hey. Oh, actually, I think I'm already online. So I'm going to actually take you through this so you can see how we do it. So let me change the sharing plan so you can see this screen, and I'm going to share. So the screen should change in a minute.
Yep.
Right. So I'll take you. Perfect. I'll take you to this in a bit, but this is our individual sharers platform. So every sharer that comes in, we have a management plan for each sharer. So to the point where you can add your notes in and your negotiators can see it. And we have a property department that books viewings. They can see it. They have to be able to respond within a certain SLA. So if your team are bringing a certain amount of sharers and you're like, well, what's going on with this sharer, or what's going on with this person? Then the bookings department has to be able to respond and say, well, this is what's happening. And you can send notes to your negotiators, and you can just coordinate through. But I'll get back to this in a minute. So I'll go to our website, which is www.professionalpropertiesrecruitment. If you then go to, after the website decides to show up, it's coming. If you go to Lettings Manager, and then go to interface, I'm going to go and get the password. It's just letting me in. Right. So what you see here is an interface. You've got all the managers in here that have got their interfaces developed. And you've just got information in here. This place is where managers can talk to each other. They can share training information. They can share documents that they've created for each other. Any system updates that's going to happen over the next month in terms of system developers. So obviously managers always like, could you get the developers to build this and build this? It'll make our lives easier. Then I get it into the developers and then they say, oh, it will come in next month's run, and we keep developing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You've got access to our YouTube channel, so you can see some of our YouTube training, all our training updates, sharing sharers documents, any discussion grounds with any other managers. You can get access to it from there. So Marcia, I'm going to go into yours. So I'm going to click into Marcia's now. The video guy to cut that bit out. Right. So cool. What you see now is Marcia's platform. Yeah. So these are Marcia's negotiators. Yeah. There's more, but those are the ones with their profiles at the moment. Before we get to Marcia's negotiators, what I want to show you is I want to show you the manager's profile. So every manager gets their own profile. When you get given a market appraisal, before you go on a market appraisal, you send your profile to the landlord. Say, look, I'm going to come tomorrow. Here's my profile. Have a look at it. And when I come, if you've got any questions, just ask me. Yeah. So in the profile, it will say you're part of a PIP agency, your name, company, picture of yourself, and a little introduction video. So I'm going to play Marcia's. Poor Marcia. I always play her. I've always played her. So this
I've got the most views now, so that's
yeah, you got So every manager has one of these to introduce themselves to whoever they want to send their profile to before they meet them.
Hi, my name's Marcia Withers. I am a lettings manager. I cover the Midlands, majority of the negotiators in the Midlands. I also am the manager of the Sharers Project, which we are launching. I'll be running that. My background is I've been in the estate agency for over 5 years and management for over 10 years. I love working with people. I'm very driven and I can't wait to do business with you all.
So you'll have one of those as well, and as well as the profile. In the profile, you have your email address, company email address, and your mobile number. So landlords can get in contact with you. If you send it out to your negotiators, everyone knows how to contact you. Over here will be the fees. So every manager has the ability to charge the fees that they want to charge to their landlords, because remember, you get 50% of it. So you dictate what you charge. But when you send it out to the landlords will know, okay, this is the rough fees that you're going to be coming to negotiate with them. Accreditation, we're part of the PRS, and all our agents are NAEA, National Association of Estate Agents, qualified or registered, whatever. Under there, you've got the landlord's information. So all of these buttons are different things that is important for us to discuss with the landlords on a market appraisal. The landlords can go in here because you sent it to them before you turn up and click and get to read on it. And you can touch base with them on the market appraisals. I'll click on authorities and permission. So here it just basically says authorities and permissions, what types of different mortgages there are. Obviously, they should have a buy-to-let mortgage, and it talks about buy-to-let insurance, just things that managers and landlords should know. And they can basically go to the different bits to understand other little bits about what we would like to discuss with them on the market appraisal. So they just click on any of these, or you click on any of these and walk the landlord through the market appraisal process.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So let me just go back to the original profile. So under there, when you do your initial assessment with Carmel, yeah, she just says, you say what your specialist areas are. So Marcia is a specialist in the sharers, corporates and professionals. Yeah. And it just gives information about her creative thinking in depth. It's just statistics that Carmel registers when you do your initial market appraisal training or whatnot. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. This link here, every manager has their own add a new sharer link. Yeah, so this is where the sharers, your negotiators, get your link, send it to the sharers, and everything that those sharers fill in go into your platform as opposed to everyone's platform. And it's where you can manage your negotiators and the sharers that they're creating differently from everybody else. Yeah. Right. So you'll know it's yours because at the top, you can see Marcia's name. So at the top, it will have your first name. So there in your, and at the bottom, really at the bottom in low, you can see your name will be down there as well. So that'll tell you that's your specific one, which will be sent out to your negotiators, and they're going to be sending those out to the sharers in the emails that they're sending out. Okay. Yeah. So that's that. I'm going to come back to choose other sharers in a bit. Here it just says, again, hello, Marcia. A little bit of information that we want to share with all you managers. And also it tells you what system updates are going to be coming next month. What system updates are predominantly coming next month is like a finance department section that will show you how much money your negotiators are billing, because you get 7.5% on what your negotiators do. So it will show you what your negotiators are billing. It will show you what you're doing and how much money you're making. And it will show you dates of when payments and stuff are going to get paid out. So if anyone ever asks you, you just go on your platform and you can see everything that's going on. Yeah. So here you have Marcia's negotiators and their number, email address, and if they pass training or not pass training. Yeah. If you click on the picture of the negotiator, so this is Marcia's actual negotiators, it takes you into the negotiator profile. So when a negotiator's passed, then they have a profile. Yeah. Now the idea, the company originally started as a booking system. So we have negotiators, and different estate agents and private landlords could book those negotiators to conduct viewings on their behalf. Yeah. So we have a profile that says on her hourly rate, if they want to book her for a viewing, is £25 an hour. This is what she wants if an estate agent's actually interested in taking her full time, but she doesn't want to do that anymore. And her details. And it actually shows the estate agent a little video on what she's capable of. This first one is her introductory, her introducing herself to the estate agent. And this one's a video of her actually in action. So I'm going to play this. It's 6 minutes long, so I'm gonna sort of cut it in different bits. But this is her meeting the tenant outside, walking them through the property.
So it's just got that extra whole feeling to it. Yeah, quite busy, yeah, but it's really good. And now, extra storage as well. Yeah. And then finally, as well.
So that's her taking the tenant through a viewing. So you get to see, okay, this is my negotiator. Now they've completed training on a viewing. You can give them advice based on this. Other estate agents and private landlords and developers will be booking their time to conduct viewings on their behalf. Remember, you get 7.5% on anything they do on a monthly basis. So the better they are, and the more bookings they get, the more money you also make on top of the 15% that you get. Yeah. You know what I mean? The first video here, I'm just going to make it brief. So this is her just introducing herself.
Professionals in property. I have been in the sales industry now for around 4 years, where I initially started doing door-to-door sales.
So that's just her talking about her background, a bit about her and why she would be good. And then down here, it's got her email. It's got the email address, company number, the times of her viewing availabilities. If they need to contact her for a viewing on the same day, how much time she needs in advance, all that kind of information. It just has information about her, really. So anyone that wants to book her knows who she is, what she's capable of, and what her time availability is. Yeah. So all her negotiators that are past training have one. Yeah. So will yours. Yeah. Now, one of the biggest questions negotiators ask, and one of the bigger questions you're going to want to know is how we get paid and how that all works. So when your negotiator is asking how they get paid, you send them a link so they can fill out their bank details. And after every viewing, we've promised our managers, we've promised our landlords, we've promised our developers, we will give feedback after every single viewing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is the after feedback, viewing feedback form and document and payment document. The negotiators get sent this link. They have to do feedback, the tenant that he took, the property they took, what the feedback of the viewing was, and then at the bottom they put what time they started and what time they finished. Yeah, and that comes through to the system. We calculate what their pay is. Eventually, that will feed into your platform so you can see what each person's billing. But it also allows us to send that feedback back to the landlord and say, this is what happened at your property. You know, we're suggesting maybe a reduction or whatever and whatnot that comes out of it. Yeah. And then you've got this part here, which is your managers sharers section. So if I click on it, this is how you manage your negotiators and manage them with their sharers in line, if that makes sense. So when it shows up, sorry, I feel like I've been talking at you for ages.
No, it's all right.
It's all good information, isn't it? It's definitely bringing you up to speed.
All quite quickly.
Cool. So I'm going to show you so this is lettings managers Marcia at the top. Lettings negotiator is Daniel. The sharing applicant is Carmel. The area that they want to move is in Balham, right? You can have your own, here you can put your own comments. I want to add a comment. I've spelled it wrong, but you know right about. And then you can click update there. And then now that's in the system. So for you to go in there and see what comments you've added, you can put here, I want the host for this sharer to be John. Yeah. So now that's going to send a link to your John, which is one of your negotiators, and he'll be able to go through all the lists and say, oh, you would want me to do a host a group with these particular sharers. Yeah. Right. So I'll and then once John is hosted, got this saying you want me to host a group with them, he will put what date he's going to host the group meeting, so all the sharers can meet each other. And he'll click here to say, I've sent all the other sharers that are playing the game that person's profile. Yeah. And then you will be able to see the dates turn up here and there. So you're almost in communication with each other. Yeah. Down here, if you want to add any comments that you want your negotiator to see, yeah, and you want our booking team to see, you put it in there.
Yeah.
And update, and it comes on the manager's comment, and our booking department can see it, the negotiators can see it, and you can keep communicating. If the negotiator wants to add anything, they've got their own section that they can feed information so you can see what the negotiator is saying in return, and the booking team can see it, and the booking team can write in there, I've conducted 5, we've rented this property, so they'll click here saying they've rented it, and the payout is due. Next month, we're going to put a little thing under here to show how much that payout means to you, the manager, and the negotiator as well. Yeah. And then in there, they'll put basically what's going on. So if they haven't rented it and they're conducting viewings, they will put in there a viewing was I booked a viewing for tomorrow. I'll give you a feedback tomorrow, and they'll feed that into this bit down here, so the tenant, so your negotiators can see it, and you can also see it. Yeah. And you can keep in contact with our bookings team. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we lost him?
I think we've lost him, and I don't know how much I've got on this. What I'll do. So
I'm sorry, the thing that will make it more sense.
What I'll do, I'll call you because we're struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me?
No.
No, we can't. It's a bit like a robot.
Can you hear me, guys?
No.
Not really.
What we'll do, the majority of the system, we'll call you offline. Marcia will call you offline just to go over any questions. Okay. Marcia, can you help me do that?
Okay.
Yeah, of course I will. I'll give you a call now. I'll give you a call now.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And
thank you.
I will see you soon.
Okay, see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.